I told you to stop!
I told you to stop! I hate you with—
I felt it instantly, the second his hand slipped out of mine. At first, I convinced myself Ethan had just gone outside for a breath of air, maybe grabbing another drink, or stopping to say hello to someone. But the way his shoulders tightened, the way his jaw clenched hard, the way his eyes deliberately avoided mine, it told me something was wrong. And before I could even make sense of it, he was gone. Just walked straight out the door. No explanation. No second glance. I froze in the middle of that crowded living room, laughter and music swirling around me, and it felt like the ground had tilted under my feet. And that's when the panic hit. Because when a husband leaves a party without a word, not angry, not loud, just silent, it usually means he's seen something. Something he can't ignore. Before that night, Ethan and I had been married 8 years. 8 solid years, or so I thought. We weren't perfect, but who is? We had our little rituals, coffee together every morning, playlists we sang along to in the car, lazy Sunday breakfasts where we argued over crossword puzzles. I believed we were a team. But recently, something had shifted. Ethan wasn't cold, exactly, but he had grown quieter, watchful in ways I didn't understand. So when our friend Jenna invited us to her birthday party, I was relieved. I thought a night out might snap us out of the strange fog hanging between us. I spent extra time getting ready, choosing the dress Ethan once said made me look untouchably elegant. I wanted that look in his eyes again, the one that told me I was still his. The party was buzzing. Music pumped through the house, voices spilled across the deck, the smoky scent of barbecue hung in the air. We greeted people we hadn't seen in months, hugged, caught up, laughed. And for a while, it worked. Ethan smiled, loosened up, even joked with Jenna about her obsession with karaoke. But then he slipped into the kitchen. When he returned, everything had changed. Subtle, but undeniable. His eyes scanned the crowd, landed on me, then shifted past me, to someone else. I followed his gaze, and my stomach knotted. Daniel. Of course he was there. The mistake. The regret that had been shadowing me for months. We hadn't spoken in weeks, not since I ended it, but there he was, standing in the same space as my husband. It felt like 2 worlds colliding in slow motion. Daniel caught my eye and gave the slightest nod, a silent acknowledgement of what we both knew. And that was enough. Ethan had seen it. I knew it from the way his shoulders went rigid, from the way his hand shook as he set his glass down. He didn't need words. He didn't need me to admit anything. That was the moment he walked out. The silence afterward was unbearable. I should have run after him, but I couldn't move. My mind spun with excuses I knew would sound hollow. By the time I forced myself outside, Ethan's car was gone. The drive home dragged like a punishment. My phone buzzed with messages, friends asking where I'd gone, Jenna checking in, but not a single word from Ethan. When I finally pulled into the driveway, his car was there. The porch light glowed. Inside, the house felt suffocatingly still. Ethan sat at the kitchen table, still wearing his jacket, a half-empty glass of whiskey in front of him. He didn't even glance up when I entered. "Ethan," I whispered, my voice shaking. "Can we talk?" He stayed still for a long moment. Then his voice came, sharp and steady, "Who is he?" My heart slammed hard. "What do you mean?" His laugh was bitter, humorless. "Don't do that, Claire. Don't insult me." I swallowed, fighting tears. "It was nothing. It's over." He finally looked at me, his eyes burning. So there was something. The silence that followed was worse than any shouting. He didn't smash things, didn't scream, didn't call me names. He just sat there, every ounce of his pain visible in his eyes. And somehow that hurt more than an explosion ever could. I wanted to explain, to tell him it hadn't meant anything, that I was lost and weak and it was over before it began. But my words stuck. "How long?" he asked. 3 months, I whispered. He closed his eyes like the number had weight. Was it worth it? No, tears blurred my sight. It was the worst mistake of my life. Funny, he said softly. Because I thought I was the biggest mistake of your life. For the next 4 days, we barely spoke. Ethan moved into the guest room. The house was filled with silence, just the sound of doors shutting, the scrape of silverware at dinner. I begged him to listen, to believe that Daniel had been nothing but a meaningless distraction during a rough patch. But Ethan never softened. "It wasn't meaningless to me," he finally said one night, his voice raw. "Because now, every time you smiled at me, every time you touched me, I'll wonder if you were thinking about him." That was the kind of betrayal that clings. The kind you can't erase with apologies. A week later, Ethan came home late. He looked pale, hollow. "I saw him today," he said. My stomach twisted. "Daniel?" He nodded. He didn't look guilty. Didn't even look scared. Just smug, like he'd stolen something from me. I reached for him, but he stepped back. "Do you understand what that does to me, Claire? Knowing another man had pieces of you that should have been mine alone." His voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw tears in his eyes. That broke me. "I want to fix this," I whispered desperately. "Tell me how." But his silence was my answer. The next morning, a letter sat on the kitchen counter. No threats. No anger. Just truth. "I love you, but I can't unsee what I saw. I can't unknow what I know. I've been walking through this house like a ghost, and I realize now it's because we're already gone. I don't hate you, Claire, but I don't trust you. And without trust, love is only pain." He packed quietly. No slammed doors, no harsh words. Just the sound of zippers, the shuffle of bags, and the final click of the door closing. And just like that, he was gone. The party that was supposed to bring us closer had marked the beginning of the end. I replayed it again and again, the slip of his hand from mine, the look in his eyes the moment everything shattered. I didn't lose him in rage. I lost him in silence. And that silence was louder than any fight could ever be. Now every night, I sit at that same kitchen table where he once confronted me, staring at the empty chair across from mine. The house still carries his scent, but it fades more each day. People say time heals all wounds, but some don't heal, they scar, leaving you to trace the outlines of what you destroyed. I used to believe betrayal was just a mistake you could bury. But Ethan taught me something in the quiet way he left. Betrayal isn't just about what you did, it's about what you broke. And some breaks are forever.